Ubisoft used to be the name in open-world games. For better or for worse, they perfected the climb a tower, reveal the map, rinse and repeat formula that dominated the 2010s. I mean, Breath of the Wild, considered to be one of the most influential games in the modern era, is downstream of that formula. Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Watch Dogs weren't just franchises. They were kind of the genre, but somewhere between the 400th Assassin's Creed. If we continue, one of us will die and something went weird. In 2024, Ubisoft was supposed to be bouncing back after a few rough years plagued by internal scandals, mass layoffs, game delays, and a creative identity crisis that would make Square Enix blush. The narrative shifted. Assassin's Creed Shadows was finally happening, a long-awaited feudal Japan Assassin's Creed game promising dual protagonists, a stealth or action balance, and a lot of hype. Ubisoft hyped this thing like it was gonna be Avengers Endgame for them. But once the dust settled and the financial reports dropped, Ubisoft refused to give a simple answer to a simple question: how many copies did it sell? What was the result? On Assassin's Creed Shadows, we don't disclose units sold. There's a growing suspicion that Ubisoft's big comeback might just be another illusion, a projection from a company desperately trying to convince everyone, including themselves, that everything is fine. Assassin's Creed Shadows dropped, and Ubisoft promptly did this weird thing. They're not the only ones that do it or anything. A lot of these modern AAA developers just love screaming this word: engagement. They might have dressed it up with pretty words, but that does not make it true. According to Ubisoft, Shadows has the second highest engagement for an Assassin's Creed game. What does that mean though? Pre-orders? Likes? How many times has someone clicked the trailer on YouTube? Play hours? I mean, that's a weird thing to brag about when no one really knows what it is. When reporters had the audacity to ask how many copies it sold, Ubisoft got quieter than you'd think an assassin would have to be on hard mode. I mean, you're not always completely right about that, but it's whatever. And the collective internet noticed. Ubisoft itself delivered a Jedi tier dodge. We don't share specific sales figures, but we're very pleased. That is, of course, don't ask questions. Just buy the damn game in PR speak. Now, this is concerning because Ubisoft is not in great shape. Their latest financial reports showed revenue down, back catalog sales falling, and even Just Dance tripping over its own shoelaces. If Shadows were really the savior they're pretending it is, most people would assume they'd be screaming the sales numbers from the rooftops. And they are not. So either Shadows is printing money and Ubisoft is being shy for fun, which is, to be fair, what I would do if I were printing money. People don't need to know about my money. I'm also not printing money, so maybe I would be bragging about it. I don't know, but they're either doing that and being shy for fun, I guess, or they're redefining success. How very postmodern of them. So right after this weird PR dance that feels, I don't know, like a bad sitcom almost, they reintroduced Charlie Guillemot. Guillemot. Anyways, our man Charlie left back in 2021 to pursue other opportunities, a Web3 gaming company called Unigi, which appears to be a DeFi decentralized finance blockchain company that is also a leading Web3 gaming studio. I don't think I want to research that any further. I don't know what's gonna end up in all that personal information they sell to everybody. Best case scenario, I get a bunch of crypto ads. Charlie is the son of the CEO of Ubisoft anyway. Before Enft Fantasy Sports or whatever the hell he was doing with Unigi, he was actually the co-head of the mobile studio at Ubisoft called Owliant. Owliant made a game called Tom Clancy's Elite Squad that depicted a fictional terrorist group that used imagery very similar to the Black Lives Matter symbol. This led to public apologies and Charlie's departure from the company. That he went from that to Enfts and decentralized finance crypto stuff doesn't make anybody really think of this guy as the most professional. So Charlie has returned to Ubisoft to co-lead a new transformation committee aimed at revitalizing the company. You know, because things aren't going so well. And what better thing to do than to bring in fresh blood who used to work at the company and is also the CEO's son? Yeah, I don't see that resulting in a whole lot of brand new ideas. Call me crazy. And as they are transforming, so too are their release dates. Now, while you play Ubisoft games like maybe Far Cry or Ghost Recon or whatever, Ubisoft is playing a game called Delay All the Things. Far Cry 7, Assassin's Creed Hex, and Ghost Recon, they've all been pushed back to 2026. or later. The official reason is to create the best conditions for success, which, I mean, isn't wrong. While they've been pretty dodgy about telling us exactly how Assassin's Creed Shadows did, it's pretty likely it did better than Assassin's Creed Mirage. And part of that is definitely because, rather than release it a year ago in whatever state it was in, they released it after another year of work in that state, which is a lot of steps in the right direction for Assassin's Creed, whether you think that it was all the steps that needed to be taken or not. I enjoyed it. Was it the best Assassin's Creed? Was it the best they could ever do? I'll answer no to both of those, but I think the delay benefited the game, and I think that is certainly something they're thinking about here. Let's break it down. Far Cry 7 was originally rumored for 2025. They're now eyeing a 2026 launch at the earliest. The game's reportedly undergoing significant changes, including a shift to the Snowdrop engine and a new storyline involving a cult and a ticking clock mechanic. Assassin's Creed Hex, which was teased way back in 2022, this one's set in 16th century witch trials in Central Europe. Not a lot of details, but it's unlikely to see the light of day before 2027. The next Ghost Recon, after the lukewarm reception of Breakpoint, Ubisoft is taking its time with this one for obvious reasons. We don't really have any details on this one, but the delay suggests a pretty significant overhaul is in the works. Like I said, Ubisoft is banking on the idea that these delays are gonna lead to better quality games. And while that's a noble goal, it is a risky move in an industry where long development cycles can lead to increased costs and waning player interest. And well, nothing says that better than the next three words, Sands of Time. Remember when Ubisoft announced the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake back in 2020? It was gonna be a nostalgia trip down memory lane, slated for release in January 2021. It is May as of this recording in 2025. This game has been delayed many times. It's switched development studios and undergone significant overhauls. Honestly, it's like Ubisoft is thinking they're using the dagger of time and rewinding, except they're not, because that's not how time works, at least in real life. Wouldn't it be funny if they added a storyline where you use the dagger of time to develop a video game? We can take as long as we want. Anyway, initially it was handled by Ubisoft Pune and Mumbai. It faced criticism for visuals and overall quality, so they handed the reins over to Ubisoft Montreal in 2022, the studio behind the original 2003 classic. It was seen as a positive step. Probably we don't know, because we really haven't heard anything. But Ubisoft has confirmed the remake is scheduled for release by March 31st, 2026, aligning with the end of fiscal year 2025 to 2026. This does provide a more concrete timeline, but I mean, it's their property. They don't have to tell the truth about when it's gonna come out. And even if they are, they don't have to stick to it. If they think they should delay it more, they could. It's part of the beauty of freedom, as well as a test of patience for those of us who like freedom but don't like waiting. I mean, this is a timeless classic. And what I mean by that is that there is no amount of time you could have estimated development to take and be correct about. But it's also like a standard timeless, Sands of Time is killer. And whenever it does come out, it's gonna be great. But man, it's not exactly professional the way they handle this stuff, is it? Well, people are taking notice. And I mean, that's a sort of broader trend than just Ubisoft itself. There is a problem that many are calling deprofessionalization in the AAA gaming industry.